is everyone staring? Did I spill something? Is this one of those dreams where I forgot to wear pants? Today, we're looking at a painting that captures that exact feeling. This is Inner Rome and Osteria, painted by the Danish artist Carl Bloch in the 1860s. And honestly, it might be one of the most awkwardly relatable paintings of the 19th century. Because this painting doesn't just look at us, it stares at us. And things get a little spicy. We're inside a Roman osteria, basically a casual tavern or restaurant where people gather to eat, drink wine, and unwind after a long day. Think less Michelin star and more good food, loud conversations, questionable decisions after the second bottle. The room is full, people are chatting, glasses are pouring, and then, boom. Everyone at this table turns towards us. 2 women, 1 man, 1 very observant cat. They've practically paused mid-meal just to acknowledge us. And immediately we have questions. She stops with her fork halfway to her mouth. Classic frozen-in-time drama. Her expression is ambiguous. Maybe surprise, maybe curiosity, maybe something flirtier. Some interpretations suggest the table might be waiting for an ortolan, a controversial delicacy involving a small roasted bird historically associated with indulgence. Now, look at her head covering. Is it traditional clothing? Possibly. But some art historians think it could be simply a napkin or a scarf, which adds a playful layer of meaning. If it's practical, she's just dining. If it's symbolic, maybe there's a hint of modesty or restraint. It could even be a sign of marriage. Or maybe she just didn't want sauce in her hair. Honestly, relatable. And here we have the real critic of the painting, the cat, waiting patiently for scraps or silently judging everyone in the room. Let's be honest, if any creature understands human drama, it's a cat. Is it judging them? Is it judging us? Yes. Now look at the second woman. She glances at us from behind her drink, shy, playful, slightly amused. Notice how both women interact with their glasses and tableware. These gestures feel deliberate, almost theatrical. The painting suddenly feels less like an accidental moment and more like we've interrupted something. Then there's this guy. He's not thrilled. The upright fork, the posture, the expression, it all gives off, "Excuse me, we're having a moment here." He looks mildly annoyed, maybe protective, maybe just confused about why everyone is suddenly distracted. Look at the table. Food, wine, plenty of effort clearly went into this evening, and yet the attention seems to have shifted elsewhere. That ignored decanter practically screams neglected romance. And then, look closely. Flies. Once you spot one insect, you start seeing them everywhere. The feast suddenly feels less pristine and more chaotic. Wine stains on the cloth, food spills. The atmosphere shifts from elegant dining to slightly messy, maybe even morally questionable indulgence. One interpretation says they're simply waiting for food. Maybe the waiter just arrived. But that doesn't explain the flirtatious body language. Another reading? The women are distracted by someone entering the room. Maybe us, maybe someone else. And here's where things get clever. Because these 3 subjects are not looking at Carl Bloch himself. Why? Because he's already in the painting. Yep, that's Carl Bloch, casually sitting at the table behind. A subtle self-portrait. He places himself inside the scene like a quiet observer. Also at the table is Moritz Melchior, the patron who commissioned the work. Melchior hosted lively gatherings with artists and writers, including figures like Hans Christian Andersen, and Bloch moved within this cultural circle. So what we're seeing is not a random tavern snapshot. It's a carefully staged social scene, inspired by real experiences but crafted for storytelling. When Melchior commissioned the painting, he asked Bloch for something similar to works by Danish painter Willem Marstrand, who also painted lively Italian tavern scenes. Bloch had lived in Italy, studied there, and even met his wife in Rome, so he knew these interiors well. His background gave the painting authenticity. Notice how the wall divides foreground and background tables. The lighting pulls us towards the trio in front. The worn walls, cracked plaster, and earthy textures create warmth and realism. Bloch admired artists like Rembrandt and was known for expressive faces and emotional storytelling. Most of his career focused on religious works, especially later commissions depicting scenes from the life of Christ. But here, those same expressive qualities are used for something much more playful. Marstrand's tavern scenes often feel welcoming. Bloch's version feels complicated, seductive, ambiguous, a little awkward in the best way. So, who are they looking at? Here's the honest answer. We don't know. And that ambiguity is the genius of the painting. The women might be reacting to a newcomer. They might be sharing a private joke. The man might be jealous or simply caught off guard. Bloch gives us just enough clues to speculate, but never enough to solve the mystery completely, which is why people keep coming back to this painting. And even though it was painted in 1866, it behaves almost like a modern movie scene. Karl Bloch isn't just showing us a tavern, he's staging a moment, and he does something really clever here. He turns us into participants. Most paintings invite us to observe quietly. This one makes us feel observed. That psychological trick is part of why this painting feels so alive, even today. You could almost imagine it as a paused frame from a film. If someone pressed play, what would happen next? Would the man stand up? Would someone laugh? Would the women look away? Or would we slowly back out of the room like we walked into the wrong party? Karl Bloch had a reputation for painting highly emotional scenes, especially religious works. But those skills transfer perfectly here. Notice how the faces aren't exaggerated. They're subtle. The expressions sit right on the edge between multiple emotions. Curiosity, suspicion, flirtation, annoyance. That ambiguity is intentional. Bloch understood that real human interactions are rarely clear-cut. And honestly, that's what makes the scene feel so real. He also uses lighting strategically. The foreground figures are brighter, warmer, and more detailed, while the background fades into darker tones. It's almost like stage lighting guiding your attention. And yes, if you're thinking this feels theatrical, you're right. 19th century artists were heavily influenced by theater staging and storytelling. Bloch basically gives us a visual drama without ever showing a single movement. So maybe the real genius of In a Roman Osteria isn't just the technique or the storytelling. It's that Bloch captures something timeless. That awkward, funny, slightly uncomfortable moment where you realize you're part of the scene. So, what do you think is happening here? Is it flirtation? Jealousy? Or maybe we're just the accidental interruption? If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit the like button, subscribe for more art stories, and tell us your interpretation in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.